Hi YouTube, I'm Tandy, the Pioneer Guy. I've recently made a Patreon where you can help me make content full-time. That Patreon link's going to be in the description below. If you like the video here on YouTube, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button at the end. Thanks for watching. Hi YouTube, Tandy here with another video for you. Today we're going to be playing some Pioneer, and we're going to be playing this newfangled version of Mardu Greasefang. Mardu Greasefang is an archetype that's been around for a little while now, ever since the printing of Greasefang Okiba Boss. However, people didn't really figure out Fable the Mirror Breaker until pretty recently, and now we're starting to see it come up in a lot of different archetypes. It helps Winota smooth out the draws. It helps graveyard decks discard some stuff from hand, and that's kind of what we're going to be doing today, both smoothing out our draws as well as discarding Parhelion. Parhelion's a card that gets stuck in your hand sometimes when you're playing Greasefang decks, but now with Voldaren Epicure making blood tokens, Bloodtithe Harvester, and now Fable the Mirror Breaker, we have a lot of ways to actually discard the Parhelion so it doesn't actually get stuck in our hand too often. We're going to be trying to get Greasefang to bring it back, but our deck can actually win a fair game as well. Fable the Mirror Breaker plus Bloodtithe Harvester is a way to churn out removal spells every turn as well as continually generate blood tokens. Daily Dispute alongside Stitcher Supplier is a nice way to fill your graveyard, find something like Kroxa, Titan of Death's Hunger. After Sideboard, we're going to have a lot more interaction with Lightning Axes to go along with our Thoughtseizes in Game 1. But Portable Hole, Fatal Push, Lightning Axe, these are all cards that are going to be really good against the aggro decks after Game 1. But our Game 1 plan, we want to be very linear. We want to try to get Greasefang online as easily as possible and kind of force our opponent to have the answer every time. We have a few things in the sideboard to help out against combo decks. We have 2 copies of Damping Sphere. That helps out against Lotus. It's okay against Sphinx or against Phoenix, but not really. Running Volley, great against killing Thing in the Ice, as well as the Resurgence of Spirits. Go Blank, excellent graveyard interaction, while also doubling as more discard for Thoughtseize. A couple Graveyard Trespassers, similarly decent at graveyard removal. It's quite good against mono red because of the life gain and the fact that if they try to kill it, they have to discard an extra card, so it really strains the resources. Plus, the fact that it's 3 toughness means it dodges all of the 2 damage removal spells, and really this just skewer the critics and sometimes the rare lightning strike, which actually kills it. And then last but not least, a copy of Rydane, which is pretty good against the control decks, the slower decks in the format, adding 2 to their top end. Important singletons to note: the one of Kroxa, really good to find off Stitcher Supplier and Daily Dispute sacking Supplier. Sorin, Vengeful Bloodlord, great at getting back Greasefang, but giving lifelink to your Parhelion and the angel tokens is kind of messed up. And then 1 copy of Skysovereign as like a 5th vehicle that you can find and bring back with Greasefang to, like, I don't know, clean up some small creatures, maybe pressure a planeswalker or something like that. The mana base is pretty straightforward. It's 3-color hardcore. So that means we don't get to play a whole lot of things like Hive of the Eye Tyrant or, Den of the Bugbear, those kind of creature lands. But this is the deck. Let's go ahead and play a league. All right, we're here for round 1. We're on the play. Opener is decent. We can turn 1 Stitcher, turn 2 Harvester. We can dispute on 2 if we want and try to go for an early Greasefang. We'll definitely keep. I'm contemplating trimming the Urborg for something that may be more useful in that slot. But basic lands, I think, are perhaps something that not enough people are playing. This deck has 0. So you could definitely see us get messed over pretty bad by something like that if we're not careful. All right, so we hit Can't Stay Away. We milled over a white source for our Greasefang, but luckily the Deadly Dispute does create treasure token, so it can act as our white mana if we need it to. All right, playing against spirits. So we'll probably not go for the Deadly Dispute here. We'll just go for Bloodtithe Harvester. Now, the Bloodtithe Harvester actually creates a blood token, which lets us mill the Parhelion if we want from our hand and draw a card. We're still short on white mana for now. I'm going to offer the trade. No one ever blocks, and we can't block, so we might as well attack. Breeding Pool from the opponent means they're probably playing Collect a Company. very little reason to play green in a Spirits deck other than collect a company. Tap, though. Maybe good news for us. Probably just another Mausoleum Wanderer. So, we can't Parhelion this turn, more than likely. I don't hope we draw land of any kind. Takenuma is okay. I don't really want to trade Harvester for Wonder. Not yet. Our dispute on our Stitcher Supplier is probably going to resolve if we do it on our turn. Let's attack first. Let's attack first with both. Let's see what they do. All right, post-combat. We have more 1-mana black things in our deck, so... but we do have the Urborg, so I guess we should leave open the Seer Step. Let's sack the Stitchers. We'll go for Dispute. If they want to sack both things, I think that we're okay with that. Yeah, they sacked neither. So next turn, we can go loot with Blood Token, play Greasefang off the treasure. So I think we can go Thoughtseize here, maybe take away a Lord from them, or make them sack a Mausoleum Wanderer. If they sack one Wonder, we might pay with the treasure, and then make them sack the other. My guess is they'll just let this resolve. Alright, so Spell Queller is the thing that's messing us up. Shacklegeist is actually kind of annoying too. But maybe we take Shacklegeist and hope they don't draw land. Right? Route Chain doesn't do it. Yeah, let's take Shacklegeist and hope they don't draw land. Didn't hit anything interesting off of this. Oh, god dang, they drew land. That stinks. Well, so we know the rest of the cards in their hand. This thing doesn't have flash. Spellqueller is the only thing that has flash other than Rattle Chains. But Rattle Chains lets them kind of do everything else that they want to do. So we can go crack Blood Token. Oh, no, we can't yet. So let's go white, black, this, right? We'll go Greasefang. They will likely Spell Queller. If they don't, we'll just use the Blood Token, discard Parhelion. But they'll go Spell Queller. That's fine. We'll play Epicure and then use Bloodtithe to kill the Spell Queller while they don't have Rattle Chains up. So the Voldaren Epicure was probably the best draw in the deck, which is kind of gross. I mean, it's good, you know. Spirits is always kind of a tough deck to play against, so whenever you can find spots to force their hand, always preferred. All right, so we'll go ahead and get our Greasefang onto the table. And it's your go. And now they play the Spell Queller. If they go land, they can play Route Chain Several Spirit, hit us for 6. And then we make 2 4/4s. This, what does this do exactly? So you can look at top card. You can play cards from the top of the deck equal to the exiled card's card type. Okay, so they exile a creature, and then they can just play creatures from the top of their deck. This card's kind of cool. The fact that it doesn't have flash, though, is kind of weak. It's a small body, only a 2/3 for 3 mana. When this card was first previewed, I didn't think it was very good, and I'm not very afraid of it still. You know what I mean? Like, if I feel like if a card has beaten me enough, then I will be able to, like, you know, there's a reason why I'd be afraid of it or whatever, right? And I'm just not afraid of that thing at all. All right, so let's go ahead and make sure we have a stop during our beginning combat steps. That way when we bring back Parhelion, we can block, or we can activate it so that we can actually get some damage in. We're going to be threatening a lot of damage. They have to chump block basically with their whole team, almost. The exile can't stay away, so from the top of their deck, they can play sorceries. That's okay. They don't have any sorceries in their deck. They're just doing that to make sure they could exile it, just acting as normal graveyard interaction. All right, so let's go sack blood token on Parhelion. We don't have fatal push, but they're just going to concede anyway. They could chump and then take 8, but then we'd have 2 4/4 flying blockers. So, yeah. All right. So after sideboard here, we do want a couple of these cheap removal spells. I think all 7 are going to come in. These will help us slow our opponent down, and we can get rid of the things in our deck that are a little more cheeky, like the Deadly Disputes and Stitcher Suppliers. Even the Kroxa is a little lackluster. Now, something like Graveyard Trespasser might be okay because it can eat the graveyard and gain us some life. It's a way for us to actually capitalize on the spot removal. Now, we could also leave in some number of Deadly Disputes and Stitchers or whatever, but I don't think that that's right. I think that our easiest route to victory is the Greasefang Parhelion, and we kind of just need to draw them, but we do want to slow our opponent down a lot with these interactive pieces. Could maybe Rydane for the backside. The Mire Protector's Shield. I don't know. I have that card in my deck and I don't even know how to say the back part, so. Alright, up a game. Looks like opponent's mulliganing. My hand's pretty good. Mausoleum Wanderer. Alright. Alright, we'll start with Epicure, I guess. The Bloodtithe Harvester on 2 or a sack to make the Skysovereign go into the graveyard is kind of just like dealer's choice. And depending on the texture of what they do, like if they go shock attack for 1, you know, I'll probably just play Bloodtithe Harvester. I don't think they'll hold up Geistlight Snatch or whatever. Main phase Rattle Chains to deal an extra damage is interesting. It means that I probably want a Bloodtithe Harvester so I can threaten to kill something next turn, like so they can't just play a Lord. But maybe them playing a Lord is better. I could also main phase loot away the Skysovereign to look for something, like a piece of 1-mana removal. It's kind of tough. I'm going to Bloodtithe Harvester. This is going to threaten them a little bit. You know, it may just alter how they play the game. And sometimes that's pretty good. And again, we can go Greasefang next turn instead of trying to get the card into the graveyard first. Just try to get the Greasefang into play first. And then Spell Queller is they're not able to save their Spell Queller from the Bloodtithe Harvester if they want the Greasefang off the table, so. And I love me some fast lands. Concealed Courtyard and Inspiring Vantage are so good. Especially in decks like this where you don't really cast many things after you play your 3rd land as far as like 4-mana cards are concerned. Alright, so looks like they're just going to hold up 2 mana here. Portable Hole's pretty interesting. Alright, I'm going to attack first and see what they do. Maybe with just Bloodtithe Harvester, in case they have the 1/3. I feel like if they had the 1/3, they would have just played it. Supreme Phantom. We'll attack with just this, see what they do. Their range of options is somewhat limited, but because they have Rattle Chains, then they can just get a lot of different things onto the table. I think I'm going to play Greasefang. And if they counter, it's okay, right? We have the backup, and that might incentivize them to tap out next turn. And then we can go loot, Greasefang, get back Skysovereign, attack, kill something. Now that this is in play, that means that our next couple turns are going to be a little easier to parse. Just because they don't have a whole lot of spot removal. Once this is on the battlefield, it's going to stay on the battlefield for probably a little while. Another Mausoleum Wanderer here is a little scary. It's not terrifying because, you know, they missed their third land drop, but if they just play a Lord here, they attack for 9, put me to 6. Yeah, Watcher's not quite a Lord, so we're actually in good shape now. We're going to kill most of their board here and deal them a lot of damage. They're not even attacking because they're just afraid. That's how good this stuff is sometimes. All right, so discard Skysovereign. We will move to inside combat. Bring back the Skysovereign. So it's gonna interplay. We'll kill Mausoleum Wanderer. We'll crew it. I'm gonna attack with all 3. We're gonna kill the Watcher, and then post combat we'll go Epicure, Portable Hole, tap land. And this isn't lethal, but we can threaten to play the Skysovereign again next turn off of the blood tokens. The Rattle Chains here I think is a little more scary. Now that we have some life, we'll go Portable Hole on the Wanderer over the Rattle Chains. And look at us using like every single mana every turn, right? It's just a way to get a really nice leg up on your opponent in Pioneer. All right, first match of the day, a Dubski. All right, we'll be right back for round number 2. All right, back here for round number 2. We won the die roll again, so we'll be on the play. This hand doesn't have any red mana, unfortunately, so we will have to throw it back. Opponent's playing Yorion. Probably some sort of, so we'll keep this. I guess I'll put back Sacred Foundry. I don't think my life total is going to matter that much, but we just have good mana, and I kind of want to keep the Takenuma just in case the game goes long. And I don't need to play the land. Playing against Mick Windsauce. They're probably playing Fires of Invention. That's what I meant to say. So we'll start off with Epicure. Get our beatdowns on. And if we draw anything to put... they are Sorcery Speed. All Storm Giants. Okay, that's fine. We will likely loot away this second Concealed Courtyard next turn. Maybe not, though. It depends on what they do. Mick Sauce is a very competent opponent. Island. Maybe this is a new Yorion deck. Maybe it's Yorion Phoenix or something. Not really sure what's going on here. I think I am going to go ahead and play Takenuma, though. We're just going to play a bunch of stuff and get aggressive, I guess. Let's see if we hit one of our creatures here. Or one of our vehicles, rather. We didn't. We'll go ahead and play Epicure. And I think I'm going to go ahead and play Takenuma. That way, if I draw Parhelion, I can go, like, discard Parhelion, draw a land, play Greasefang, something like that. I don't think it's right to discard Greasefang here. And it's possible you should have just played Greasefang because it hits harder. But I thought maybe we were going to run into some sort of sweeper effect pretty soon. Field of Ruin, classic. No basic. Already getting punished. Second match of the day. Yep. All right, well, now we're just going to go for, I don't know. Need to draw anything. Kroxa is a pretty good one. All right, well, we'll just go ahead and get back Greasefang, just because it's big. If it dies, we can't get anything back, but that's okay. The Field of Ruin was pretty brutal. I was very close in the deck tech portion of... okay, we're probably facing off against the Wandering Emperor here. I guess I attack with Greasefang too. Maybe not, though. Maybe I just force him to have the answer to it otherwise. I don't know. Alright, we'll put him to 8. Play Epicure. It's so weird playing against Wandering Emperor. Like, what else are they going to do? Just crack Omen? If all they do is crack Omen, like, good night. Deluge? Yeah, maybe I just whiffed a 4 damage hit. All 4 Epicures, though. We got them on the ropes. Chat! It's weird not having chat talking to me right now. This is the first time I've made a YouTube video in a while where I did not have a stream alongside next to it. So, Field Run number 2. Bad news bears for me. But we're not playing against the Wandering Emperor anymore, so we will be able to attack with the Greasefang this turn. Alright, let's go ahead and discard the Parhelion, see if they have an answer. They will trigger the Parhelion. Now, I guess they could kill the Greasefang here with the trigger on the stack, so it goes back to my hand. Then we put them to 3. March is fine. I could have crewed still. I messed up. Big mistake. Could have threatened lethal, messed up, misclick. So that'll probably cost us the game. If they just play Supreme Verdict or Farewell here, we lose basically everything. The 2 Field of Ruins were pretty backbreaking. Made it so we couldn't really play much Magic because we don't have basics in our deck. I think that's something that can be pretty easily remedied, though. With Blue-White being one of the best or more prevalent decks in the format, I find myself getting hit by Field of Ruin quite often. And I don't really think that you can afford to play 0 basics. So going forward, I think I'll just probably cut Urborg and maybe even the Godless Shrine or something like that to add in another basic land. Okay, so after sideboard here, they're probably going to have some anti-graveyard stuff. We're going to go a little more fair. We don't want any of the removal. Damage Seer is not that great. We're thinking about these 6. Skysovereign's okay. They have plenty of Planeswalkers that this can tag. The Can't Stay Aways are too graveyard-centric to do much. Even though we can mill over them, they're pretty good. And the weird thing about this matchup, though, is that Narset can be occasionally hard to get off the table. And having Deadly Dispute against that card is just so bad. But it is extremely good with Citrus Supplier early. And it's possible we just don't want to board in that much, right? I think the Graveyard Trespassers are okay. Go Blank is okay. They don't use their graveyard a ton. So all the discard is okay, right? It's not going to break anyone's back. So maybe we just don't worry about the Go Blanks. Maybe we cut 2 Graveyard Trespasser, PSA away, and Deadly Dispute for these 3. That seems all right. We'll try that. Especially on the draw, Go Blank is kind of lackluster. They're also a version of the deck that is going way bigger with Yorion and a bunch more like enters the battlefield things. So this hand's okay. We'll keep. Again, they're just blue-white control, but they are playing Yorion. Any ones? We drew 1-drop. Nice. I'll go Concealed Stitchers. Did not mill over a Parhelion, but that's okay. Portable Hole being burned on that instead of this Bloodtithe Harvester makes me feel good. I'm going to go ahead and shock. I'm going to get some pressure down. Now, once they're low on cards, maybe we'll get them with Kroxa and get their last card or two. Main phase Omen of the Sea, that means they're likely light on lands and looking for lands. Looks like they found. All right, we're going to go Epicure plus Kroxa, I think. That way we can... Well, I don't know. Maybe I should have discarded this. I want to save this for after the Wrath. I think we're going to get Wrath next turn. This kind of prevents a Wrath-ish. Because Wrath means that I can just go land plus bring back Kroxa. And the same was not necessarily true if I just play Graveyard Trespasser. Field of Ruin here. They're probably going to main phase it. Unfortunate. But they did hit a white source instead of a red. 2 mana, maybe they have another Fateful Absence or something. Okay, so this is a pretty cool one. They're going to exile my Kroxa. Alright, so let's attack with the Bloodtithe Harvester, and then just play the Trespasser. And we'll go ahead and just eat Fateful Absence or something from their graveyard. We can hit our Stitchers. Deal them a damage. I think I'd rather do that. Alright, here comes the Knuckleheads. Can you beat it? Alright, we're gonna discard the Skysovereign and look for a white source. We didn't find it. So let's just go declare tax. And we'll eat their 2 things in their graveyard here. We'll post-combat play a Fable. Now, if they go Wandering Emperor and minus on Bloodtithe Harvester, they gain 2. If they minus on this, they have to discard a card. Okay, so they have to discard a card. And we still have this thing chilling. They discarded a Shark Typhoon. Nice. I don't know if we need another red, but I'm going to play it as a red because we have plenty of black in our deck. Alright, put a counter on this. Portable hole probably on the Bloodtithe. Maybe let the Goblin, though. Yorn in hand. Alright, so we need to try to kill this Wandering Emperor. I think we might just have to Thoughtseize him now. The Greasefang without white here is kind of gross. I really need to kill this Wandering Emperor, but I don't know that I can, other than with Greasefang. Alright, let's just try to hit. Need a white source. Alright, well, we have this now. And we can go kill this. And then we can attack for 1 on the Wandering Emperor. And if they play a land for Yorion, it's bad, but it's not that bad yet. You know, it can get worse. And this way they have to plus this. Alright, so here comes Yorion. Okay. So they get a free portable hole because the first one hit a token. Maybe I should have Thoughtseize instead of Greasefang. I just thought that getting back the Skysovereign, killing the Wandering Emperor, and hitting for a huge chunk would have been so good. Still would be. The fact that Yorion lets them do a cool trick with the Wandering Emperor is kind of stupid. I really don't like that, actually. Alright, well, I'll just play a land and say go. Hope we don't get hit with another Field of Ruin. The Field of Ruins in this matchup has just been devastating. Both games. And now we're probably going to lose to something like any counter spell is just good enough here, right? Played irrigated farmland. I guess that means they might have farewell. Alright, well, let's try for Greasefang. See if we get to bring it back. The Skysovereign. Alright, so they're going to kill something now. Alright, so let's go Rummage. We can't copy the Okiba because it is legendary. We can copy Epicure, though, if we need to. That'll let us kill Wandering Emperor, but we're still taking a ton of damage from their stuff. All right. We have drawn Deadly Dispute off of the blood token. Our opponent had an AFK break. So March of the Lordly Light, targeting Greasefang. We can't copy with Reflections. Now we can go out and Reflections the Epicure, which I'm going to do, and that's going to let us just kill the Wandering Emperor. Although we could have done it on their turn to have a blocker. It doesn't actually hit Planeswalkers either. Okay, never mind. We're probably just dead. All right, so plus on the Samurai. Another Wandering Emperor. Guess they're probably going to plus on the other Samurai. Oh, they minus on the token. Yeah, that's probably fair. We take 9. I'm going to chump. We might get lucky. We're going to Deadly Dispute, try to hit some good. Second blood token. And Vita. All right, that should be GG. We'll try again. The Deadly Dispute here on the play might be fine. I don't know if Raiden's that great against them. It hits all their Wandering Emperors though, right? Maybe it's just good. What's not good? All right, we'll just leave it as it was. All right, game number 3. We're going to be on the play. Let's try to play a little bit better this time. This is the first league I've run through with this version, so there's a couple things I'm missing here and there. The Voldaren Epicure is not being able to hit Planeswalkers is a little awkward for me. I have so much muscle memory and being able to redirect like face damage to Planeswalkers that like I feel like most of them just already say player or Planeswalker, and the fact that he doesn't is kind of awkward, especially because it's deal damage and not life lost. I know that it's, you know, the more you play with the card, the more you remember things like that through muscle memory. I just don't have that yet, I guess. I will keep this. We actually have a pretty sick opener for this matchup and just in general. We can discard Parhelion II if we want, but I think I might go for a sack to Deadly Dispute. Well, we drew the Harvester, so we'll just do that instead. Just put the beatdowns on them. Force them to have Verdict pretty early on. All right, let's attack for 4 and play Trespasser. I don't want to get knocked off of black mana, so we're going to play this as Blightstep instead of the red side. If they go Field Ruin our black source, that could be pretty devastating. Disruption here, countering our 3-drop. It's not the best, but it's not brutal, you know. All right, I don't want to put another creature onto the battlefield. I'm going to sack a blood token, I think, to draw a card. I'm going to play this tap and say go. And then, depending on what they do, I'll either dispute the blood token or I'll dispute the Harvester. If they, or I'll sack whatever they target. Or if they Wrath, I'll just sack either one. It doesn't matter. Now the problem is that we're about to be in the Emperor squeeze, where it's hard to play around the Wandering Emperor and other things like that. Rest in peace. Okay. All right. Well, no more graveyard shenanigans for us. We'll just go for a dispute on a blood token. See if it resolves. Probably won't, but that's okay. Another Jawari Goddess. I'm going to go ahead and play another Bloodtithe Harvester. I think at this point, if they have a verdict, we're just dead anyway. I'm going to hold the land in case we want to sack a creature in response to Wrath, and then we have the blood token to discard a land later. Yeah, they just have it. It's a bummer. Tried to play around it as much as we could. Maybe I should have played the creature a turn earlier. Well, we have a nice little follow-up turn, though. Should I guess I'm just going to hold the land for Fable. Fable and blood tokens pretty similar in the way they interact with these creatures. Or the extra lands in hand, rather. Alright, Cycle Sensor. Alright, we can play both these things. We'll attack. Hopefully you don't have Emperor. See if they counter this or anything like that. It's probably just a noggin whack. Absorb. Brutal. I don't want to sack the treasure. Actually, I'd rather sack the treasure than I'd rather sack the treasure than play the land. So we'll go ahead and do it. Just now they didn't have another verdict last turn. Let's hope they don't have another one this turn. Farewell or whatever. It's also good for them. Man, oh man. Got all my blood tokens too. I have such trouble winning against the blue-eyed decks. They have so many things that are hard to play around. Maybe I'm just not supposed to play into the absorb. I don't know. Well, we played a creature. Just got 4 power, and they're at 4 life. We play Yorion. They have no more Rest in Peace in play, so I could draw like Citrus Supplier, mill over thing. Bring the thing back. They didn't feel to ruin me. I guess that's good. They could have. So they're not attacking. For multiple reasons, that's given me hope. Skysovereign, I guess we'll just play it. Even if they counter it, it comes back. And I can, if they counter it, it's actually great for me. This may have been a punt. Now, they can kill the Greasefang here in response to the trigger, but I feel like if they had that, they would have killed the Greasefang earlier. And maybe attacked. This might actually be lethal. Now, it's also possible they just have the Wandering Emperor, and they're going to let Yorin die and then minus and exile the Sphinx. Or the Skysovereign. Okay, this is good too. So they lose their Yorion. They make a chump blocker. Skysovereign comes back to hand, unfortunately, but we can use this to maybe kill a blocker if they play something to make a blocker. I don't know what that would be, really. We don't actually have that many creatures left in our deck, honestly. All right, well, let's hit them while their shields are down, hopefully. All right, well, I'm going to play this thing. And then if we draw a creature that can Crude, we can maybe win the game. But again, we've gone through, what, 3 Harvesters. The Kroxa's gone. Teferi might tuck this. Yeah. So we can't kill Teferi this turn, but we might be able to kill him next turn. Of course, we drew a couple lands, and we're just not going to be able to do anything. Just lose to Teferi as usual. Sunset just to gain some life is pretty smart. Rest in peace. Makes sense. Could run my land. I don't even have the option to say no, so it's going to be kind of hard to just randomly draw the Skysovereign now to kill the Teferi. And even so, they might have an answer for it anyway, so. Another land, not what the doctor ordered. Looks like we're going to be packing it in here. We'll play it out, though. Might get lucky. Could just draw Fable the Mirror Breaker, and if it resolves, we actually just have some something cool to do with the 2 lands in hand instead of just having them rot away. If we brick again, though, I'll probably concede. Yeah. All right, GG. All right, we're back for round 3. The Mardu Greasefang be on the play. This hand's pretty good. We'll keep. I like the old curve of Stitcher Supplier into Bloodtithe Harvester. Not sure what our opponent's playing, so I think I'll lead with a land that doesn't deal us damage. Since we can go turn 2 Harvester off it. We hit a Skysovereign, so even without looting away the Parhelion, a Greasefang on 2, or a Greasefang on 3 could bring back Skysovereign to pop something. That is if we draw it. Overgrown Tomb. Llanowells. Alright, this could be a number of different decks. I'm going to go ahead and just play Bloodtithe Harvester. Attack for 1. Depending on what they do next turn, we can use Bloodtithe to kill either Elf, or if they're the Bull Citadel deck, we can use it to kill the Priest. Prosperous Innkeeper. Alright, so this is probably Citadel. Unless there's some weird version of something or another. Alright. Let's go Greasefang off the top. Alright, didn't drop. Let's go loot away the Parhelion. Your Fable. It's like a little late. Guess we should have killed the elf before we did what we did, but I think they're just going to be holding up Fatal Push the whole game, seems like, off the treasure token. Assuming they have it. Nothing so far that says that they do or don't. Other than these random pauses that are giving me pause. Another elf. They're getting dangerously close to 6 mana. And stay away. This could target Harvester only for now. Alright, I'm going to attack for this many. Nah, if they... I want to be able to do something if they priest us. I want to sack the Stitchers, so... We'll just attack for 3. I'm going to play Fable and a tap land. Probably Godless Shrine. We got 2 Inspiring Vantages already. Alright, well, here comes Bolsa Citadel probably. The old turn 4 6-mana artifact, just clapping cheeks. We'll sack a Stitchers. See what we mill over. A Greasefang. So we can Parhelion them next turn if we don't die. It's threatening a lot of damage. But with that said, they have been kind of representing a Fatal Push with Treasure Token for a minute. If they have it, That's scary, but if they don't, then, you know, we might be fine. All right, we'll just discard both these extra lands. Well, we drew Thoughtseize, so let's do that. See if they have it. 2 lands, so we can't stay away on Greasefang. Yeah, there was something in the way here. I just want to make sure I didn't misclick. All right, black, white. Luckily for me, they didn't draw a Citadel, so all they got to draw was a bunch of creatures. Bring back Parhelion, attack for a bunch, and GG. Game number 2. What do we want here? Their deck is like all cheap stuff, and then Bolus of Citadel. But they do have a lot of elves, so maybe it's like Axe, Hole, Push for the elves. I don't want Rending or Damping. The Go Blank is okay, not great. Trespasser might be okay. So it's like these 8. But I like the Disputes and Stitchers in this matchup. I think Thoughtseize can maybe go. They play a lot from the top of the deck, and often their draws in the early turns are just like random pieces that Thoughtseize doesn't really interact well with. Kroxa maybe is weak. Sorin's maybe weak. It's possible we don't want all this interaction. Maybe we just go push hole. Maybe Trespasser's bad too. Maybe we should do these 4 for these 4. I don't really want to cut anything else, so let's try that. All right, game number 2. We're going to be on the draw. This draw is pretty solid, though. We got a couple 1-drops, a way to discard the Parhelion, and a mill thing with a Sorin. So even if we mill over our Greasefang, we can still get it back with Sorin, which is kind of cool. They don't pressure Planeswalkers that well either. Even if they do have like Boseiju or whatever. Actually, Boseiju doesn't have Planeswalkers, but Assassin's Trophy, I guess. All right, Stitcher's time. Milled over a bunch of nothing. I do like Fable, but I like Fable a lot in the Llanowar Elves decks. It makes me want to play Fable, Llanowar Elf into different color combos like Jund. All right, let's Epicure, and we'll go ahead and plan out our discarding of the Parhelion. But we can't do anything else with our mana, so we'll just say go. All right, so right now they're at 4 mana. This is 5. Innkeeper's okay. That puts them at 6 for next turn if we don't do anything about it for Bolus of Citadel. I mean, they're not. If they have Bolus of Citadel next turn, unless we draw a removal spell for Elf, not a whole lot we can do. Wayfinder's interesting. Their build is a little bit different than what I'm used to playing against. I guess they're not playing red, which means there's no Mayhem Devil, which means that they're Cat Ovening, but they're not really doing a whole lot else otherwise. All right, so they kept Overgrown Tomb. They still technically have push mana up. They have 2 cards in hand, so there's only 1 card we don't know. Discard Parhelion. Didn't draw the thing we want, but we'll play Fable and maybe draw next turn. I guess there's no reason to hold these back now. They can block one with Goose, but the other one's got to trade or whatever. Wayfinder blocking makes sense. Overgrown Tomb untap. That's bad. That means they have everything they need to play Bolus of Citadel. And let's just hope that the top card's a land for the first turn. If the top card's a land, they're stuck for a turn. Go blank is a beating. We'll discard Epicure and Takenuma. And we'll keep the land if Okay. I guess we just don't even loot. Or maybe we loot the Okiba and then bring back with Sorin. I think we hold back the Stitchers to protect the Sorin from these two creatures. Maybe I should have discarded the land. And then if I miss, I just play Okiba. I don't know. I mean, the land was also Takenuma, so it's not like it's that bad. I don't know. Hard turn. Land tapped. Familiar off the top. We need to hit something good pretty quick. Make a food. Sure. Sack the food. I don't understand. Is this just the F6 or to Fatal Push? Alright, that makes sense. So they had the Fatal Push. I'm glad I held my creature back. Alright, so let's go Faces the Place. Deal him some damage. Maybe at this point it's just hold lands forever. Top of their deck has not been kind to them with the Bolster Citadel, luckily for me. Get a push on the tap token, set a Wayfinder. I wish this said from the top of the deck or not. It's kind of annoying. They're going to play another Citadel. Oh, we'll try from the grave. That's fine. So they don't quite have enough for Citadel to kill me. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The Prosperous Innkeeper is just gaining them so much life. The Woe Strider is fucked up here too, because they're just going to be able to get more creatures off the Innkeeper, scry stuff, blah, blah, blah. We're pretty dead. Pretty. I'm just going to concede this game. We're not going to be able to beat all this anyway. All right, game number 3. So they go blank to me. Do I go blank them? I don't think so. They just Rydane them. Makes their thing harder to cast. I really don't think I want the Lightning Axe. I don't love the idea of can't stay away against go blank. Maybe it's this. Just get them some more beatdowns. They empty their hand pretty fast. The Kroxa can actually deal them some serious damage. Let's try this. I don't think Rydane does enough. It just stops both Citadel from making them cost 6 to making them cost 8. It's not that huge of a difference. We'll keep this one. We'll go turn 1 Epicure, turn 2 Whole Stitcher. So let's leave it Epicure. Could discard the Parhelion. This is a super good hand for this matchup. The Goose. Alright, so Stitchers first. And then I guess we just go Portable Hole. We could have just like looted to look for land, but I kind of want to save it so we can go like loot, push a 3-drop maybe or something, and to find land for Parhelion. But we need to be also careful that we don't just randomly get hit with go blank and lose everything. Priesty, okay. Try to hit the land. All right, let's pretend that we don't have the land. That way, if we get hit with a go blank, we discard these two, keep Greasefang probably. Maybe we should have waited on this. All right, another priest. All right, GG. So we had the land, we just debated, so they thought they were safe for a turn. Now we get back Parhelion, crew it up, attack for a bajillion. I think this is lethal if we attack with everything, because this is 13 plus 1. That's all she wrote. All right, be right back for the next round. All right, back for round number 4. Won the die roll again. That's 3. 3 out of 4 so far. Pretty good. We'll keep this hand. Probably lead with Epicure. If opponent mulligans to like 5 or something, I might just take a peek. Against is actually the person. This might be a mirror match. Our opponent, I think, was the person who won the challenge last weekend with this deck. So keep that in mind. Another reason to Epicure first, I think. Although maybe Thoughtseize first in case my Thoughtseize gets Thoughtseized. Yeah, I might want to just like take their Greasefang from them or something. All right, looks like they're playing a similar deck, but it's a little bit different now. They have Fatal Push in the main. Maybe it's just Mardu mid with Deadly Disputes and stuff. We'll take Fable. Fable's a card that helps them turn those extra lands into spells. All right, Blood Crypt tapped. Epicure for sure. Then we'll go EOT, discard Parhelion, look for Greasefang. And they don't quite have a way to Fatal Push my Greasefang yet, so this is like prime opportunity to get the job done. Because even they can't even Daily Dispute yet because they don't have anything. We did find Fable though. Fable's going to be pretty sick. I think I'm going to play my Blood Crypt instead of my Needleverge. Kind of want the second black mana in play. Loot away the Needleverge. And probably they can't stay away. Fatal Push here, likely going to kill the 2/2 if I had to guess. Alright. So, Concealed Courtyard's a land they drew. So we know 4 out of the 6 cards. Inspiring Vantage, 3 out of 5. Bloodtithe Harvester. Alright, let's do some Remagen. I guess we'll just discard the land. Alright, loot away a Courtyard. That's another one that we didn't know about. So we still know they have Blightstep, Godless Shrine, and Dispute. They attack. Scissors is fine. So they hit a Parhelion. If they go land into a Greasefang, I'm going to be kind of upset. Kind of upset. Only a little upset. Only a little. Alright, I'm going to block, and then I'm going to play Dispute. Do Skysovereign. It's kind of a heater. So no, they have Dispute. I'm just going to go ahead and play the Skysovereign. They're going to Dispute whatever I target. So I'll target the Bloodtithe so they don't get the extra mill 3. So they can't, they're less likely to can't stay away on a Greasefang. Alright, they let it happen. That means they're going for the Gusto. They're going to Dispute this. They're going to look for a Greasefang in the top 3. Or top 6, really. 3 off the mill, 2 from the draw, 1 for the draw step. So they got a lot of ways to find it. And they do already have a Parhelion in the graveyard, as do we. Maybe I should have been going harder looking for the Greasefang, huh? Still no Greasefang from them. Citrus Supplier wouldn't have been cast that quickly, I don't think, unless they were looking for it. I still think they have one Godless Shrine in hand, but I'm not sure. I haven't seen it played. I don't think there's one in the graveyard. All right, another Harvester. Rummage with Blood token. Discard a backup Parhelion. Godless Shrine. Entering untapped. Another Supplier. Still don't have it. Wow, I'm very lucky. Very lucky. Let's see if we can get even luckier. All right, let's go Stitchers. Let's go Crew it. Or not Crew it, but copy it. Since we have Can't Say Away in hand. Dispute. Still didn't hit it. And we're short on land. Motherfucker. Okay. All right, well. What are the chances? What are the chances, chat? I'm guessing pretty high. Another Stitchers. They found it. All right, so now they can't stay away. I don't have Fatal Push in my deck, so this is just lethal. That's so brutal. If I don't copy, I still don't hit. All right. Go blanks are fine. Trespasser is good. All the anti-graveyard stuff's fine. Fatal Push is good. Axe is good. And then I like the disputes. Thoughtseizes can go. Maybe the Bloodtithe Harvesters are kind of bad. I was kind of thinking what to sideboard out here, and the only thing I can think of is like these. Kroxa is so much worse when they have a bunch of go blanks after board. Can't Say Away is similarly mediocre, but the fact that like I can use my Stitcher suppliers aggressively with disputes and things like that to use Can't Say Away, I think is nice. I mean, that whole game, our opponent never drew Greasefang. They just milled 30 cards and finally hit one, and their Can't Say Away got turned on. So try this. Kind of bridging the gap. A little bit interactive. Still have all the combo pieces. Trading our sorcery speed removal. Allow Bloodtithe Harvester into instant speed removal. All right, we're going to be on the plate. I'm going to keep, but there's a chance that we just don't do anything and die. We just never draw land. Well, we hit Skysovereign, so we have a lot of things to do with 3 mana. Maybe that's a reason to keep in some of our 2s and trim some on the 3s. But our 3s are all pretty powerful. And I think that Fable is good enough that we just have to keep them. And the sideboard cards are very good in this matchup, so. I'm not going to attack. I don't want to. I already have my stuff rolled up, and I don't want to give them a chance to find more graveyard stuff. Now, this does allow for a Deadly Dispute to be online, but if they had Deadly Dispute and that was their plan, they could just not block anyway. All right, Thoughtseize from them. They're likely going to take Fable. They might take Greasefang and just try to get all my Greasefangs out. They might take a blank. If I were them, I'd probably take Fable, though. I guess it's all dependent on their hand as well. All right, they took Fable. Unfortunate. So important to note, they left in Thoughtseize, so now I really just have no idea what's in their sideboard, or what they're boarding in, you know. Land would be clutch. We whiffed. But Epicure was a good draw. I'm gonna go ahead and do this now in case we hit a land. We didn't. I'm gonna attack. Chip damage does matter because the Parhelion is not lethal sometimes. So if you try to Parhelion and do it, you know, it's not always lethal. So you got to try to close when you do get it off. All right, so they have Fable. It's gonna take it. It's lethal if we draw land. Come on. We don't even have a thing for Fatal Push to get turned on, so I'm just going to kill the Goblin token. And if they have Parhelion plus Greasefang off the Fable, then so be it. I mean, there's not a lot we can do. We drew no third land in all 3 drops, and we even looted some. Our Stitcher Supplier on 1 betrayed us. Milled some lands. All right, well, they didn't discard Parhelion, so even if they have Greasefang, it's not that big of a deal yet. All right, they found Parhelion off of the Rummage. Greasefang time now? Nope. All right, so you're saying there's a chance. They're still dead to the lands off the top. Land. Land. All right, well, we'll say go now, I guess. We can at least protect ourselves from Greasefang now. Wow, they rummaged off the Fable and then just drew back-to-back Parhelions. But luckily, for them, they drew some blood tokens to get rid of them. So that's nice for them. All right, Reflections. Not that scary at the moment. Could be scary next turn. Thoughtseize from them. I'm going to go ahead and axe the Reflection. We'll just pitch a go blank. The only way we win the game is with Greasefang, like, ASAP, so. And the Thoughtseize was going to protect their Greasefang from removal. So they'll probably take a Greasefang, and if they kill one, we're in trouble. I don't know. Whatever. Literally had like 4 turns to draw a land to win the game. Never did. Still might. I'm going to double block. Not going to block Stitcher because they have Can't Stay Away. Sure, I'll mill over 3 lands with a Stitcher. Land. Hey! See if this works. All right, so this is kind of interesting. I think I just go for the kill. Like, they let it trigger, but they kind of paused, which led me to believe that maybe they just don't have it. But if I felt like they did have it, we could potentially get back the Skysovereign to kill something. But I think that this is fine. Like, just going for this is just better. Okay, paying costs. Am I going to get punked? Fatal Push? Okay. So they're at 1. Facing down pseudo-lethal, but they can lethal me with a Greasefang of their own. Any gamers in chat? Don't do it. Yeah, game number 3. All right, well, I don't know what they boarded in or out, right? If they had all the stuff that I had cut, I guess maybe they cut Dispute. But Dispute seems good for turning on Fatal Push, giving extra value to my Epicures and things. The Bloodtithe Harvester, not having that's a little awkward. Maybe these 2 are bad. Maybe Skysovereign is bad. Skysovereign might be bad. Bring in a Harvester. Again, I still like the Can't Stay Aways. Alright, I don't think that the Bloodtithe Harvester is that good, so we're not gonna go ham sandwich on him. I think we have to mulligan this hand. It's pretty close, actually, because of the nature of the matchup. You know, we have a couple things that we can cast early. If we draw a land, we're set. But I'm going to mulligan. I'm going to play it safe. We'll keep. I'm going to put a... Let's see, we already have plenty of white. We'll put Needleverge back. Now we have Axe on Greasefang, pitching Parhelion, and we have Fable. So we are a bit insulated from combo for now, but things can change, obviously. All right, shock from them. If they pass turn, that means they probably have the deal two. All right, well, we have go blank, so now I'll just say go. I'll play it a little slow. Next turn, we can go Harvester, hold up Lightning Axe, and then the turn after, if we draw land, we can go blank, hold up Lightning Axe. Or we can just play Fable, depending on what they do. They might not have another land. They didn't shock on 2. That's usually a sign that they're light on lands if they start with shocks instead of these. I probably should have just played Harvester. The likelihood of them having the combo with that setup is pretty low. But they could have gone Dispute, sack Treasure, sack Blood Token. I mean, they can just have it, you know? So you gotta be careful. Alright, Fable. They're gonna have a pretty huge mana advantage against me here. We're not doing much and they're doing stuff. We'll go ahead and play Harvester. We'll say go. We have Axe. But a single Thoughtseize can make it so that we're extremely vulnerable. And they're about to Fable and discard some stuff. If they discard some stuff that we want to go with Parhelion, we can just go for go blank next turn. All right, so they have the Greasefang. Now we have to decide, do we want to kill it and leave the Parhelion in the graveyard, or do we want the Parhelion to go back to the hand? And I think that we want to go blank, so I think we want to kill it during the main phase. We'll pitch Parhelion of our own, and hopefully we draw Greasefang. If we don't, we'll just go blank. I'm gonna probably block this. All right, so one black. What are they doing with the rest of it, huh? Harvester, that's fine. All right, I'm gonna go crack this, discard Parhelion, see if we draw something cool. I'm just gonna go blank to get them down to 1 card and no graveyard, so they're gonna have to have Greasefang plus Parhelion from hand out of 1 card. Fable's gonna transform. Fable of our own was looking awkward because we were on the draw and we were trying to protect from Greasefang, and it seemed like they had it, so I'm glad that we played slow. But I think we are keeping pace, but we are technically behind, I think. Though a single... What did they discard? They discarded a Harvester and a Stitchers. Okay. So they're looting a land. They did it pretty fast. That means that either it's land or it's Parhelion. And luckily for me, it was land. Parhelion's still kind of scary. Reflections on the Bloodtithe Harvester can be kind of gross. I'm going to go ahead and play the Fable. I'm going to hold these two. They will be able to use Reflection on Bloodtithe and use it to kill the Goblin. And they'll also get a blood token to use as well. But hopefully next turn we can do some rummaging and find what we need. All right, go blank. Well, maybe we should have played our land. I don't know. Maybe not. I think we needed it for the Fable. All right, so they're going to get another blood token. They'll kill Goblin. Attack for 3. And we rummage 1. Our graveyard's gone, so we're basically out of juice. We need to basically find something to kill one of these two this turn, I think, or we're dead. Can't say away. Can't say that I like it. All right, well, I'm going to concede. GG. All right, back for the 5th and final round. Be on the play. Pretty good hand. We'll keep. The turn 1 Supplier, turn 2 Dispute. Maybe try to use that mana for something valuable. We have Can't Stay Away, so if we mill over Greasefang in the top 6, we can bring it back. If we hit Greasefang and we hit Parhelion, we can go kind of ham sandwich on turn 3, huh? A lot of looks. A lot of looks at it. All right. Opponent kept 7. Supplier to mill. No good hits for Can't Stay Away yet, but that's fairly common. Now, if they play a land that has blue in it, I might main phase the Deadly Dispute. All right, Witch's Oven. This should be okay for us. Oh, we hit the... Not the jackpot, but we hit a real nice one. We'll say go. This also means they're Jund Sack, which means they do probably have main deck Fatal Push. So if they have some way to turn on the I need to be careful. The Revolt. Kitty kitty. See if we hit a Parhelion. We did not. Unfortunate. We do have a treasure, so we can go Stitcher first here and try to get lucky. Top 3. Any hits? Any gamers? Hey, we did it. All right. It's going to be real hard for them to beat this. So we'll go ahead and bring back Parhelion. Crew it up. Attack for $1 billion. And that's it. All right. Game 2. This matchup, we kind of want Portable Hole, kind of want Go Blank, kind of want Trespasser, but I don't think that we need a ton. They don't have a lot of great interaction against us, except for Fatal Push. Thoughtseize is okay against that type of thing. Their anti-graveyard stuff would mess them up pretty bad too most of the time, so I don't expect anything like Grafdigger's Cage. It'll mostly be like, you know, maybe one of the things that cycle, so Portable Hole is not even that good against those. I don't know. I don't think we want to change too much, if anything. Maybe I'll bring in Fatal Push because of Mayhem Devil. Mayhem Devil could be problematic. Thinking. I think I'm just going to leave it as is, though. I kind of like the way the deck looks against these matchups. I don't feel like I'm at a disadvantage on any metric. The only thing that would really get me is just some sideboard card that I'm not thinking of. But once I know about it, I'll be able to sequence a little bit better for the next few turns, probably. All right, let's go Epicure. It's possible we should Thoughtseize on 1 to maybe take away their crumbs. Alright, Innkeeper's fine. We'll offer the trade. They'll never trade. Holy shit, they traded. I lied. Alright, I'm gonna play Bloodtithe because Bloodtithe can check the Mayhem Devil. And then we'll kind of save the Thoughtseize for later. For when we want to protect our Greasefang from a fatal push off the treasure. And then also kind of incentivize them to hold this treasure up forever. Trail crumbs, that's okay. Nothing from them after. All right, let's go and attack for 3. I think I'm going to play Fable. Fable's a good push target. Because that treasure can actually let me start casting like extra things. They didn't play a land last turn though. That's good news for me. It's weird having this Thoughtseize just kind of chilling the whole game, but when they're light on lands, Thoughtseize is much worse. When people are heavy on lands, that's when you want to hit them with Thoughtseize so that you take away like their one bit of reprieve. Yeah, I might even just discard both Thoughtseizes here. Maybe I'll keep 1 just for the fatal push. All right, I'm gonna attack. They get the food trigger, but we get our treasure as well. The treasure is pretty good. Might actually just cast the Greasefang here. We actually got him on the ropes a bit as far as pressure is concerned. Could have Thoughtseize there too. Maybe should have. They found a land. They don't have any food generation yet though. Just the trail the one time so far. All right, so they play the land we know. Mayhem Devil. So now they can go sack treasure, fatal push. All right, I'm gonna start with the Thoughtseize. I'm gonna see what's up over there. Now, if they have 2 fatal pushes, then not a lot we can do. They do have 2 fatal pushes, so and a Ray of Enfeeblement. Interesting. Okay, so does that mean we take the Trail Crumbs or the Mayhem Devil? I guess the Trail. All right, I'm just gonna go kill Mayhem Devil here. Now they can sack treasure, fatal push this, right? But we can just can't stay away and Stitcher, so we might just get their ass if they bite too hard. But we need to get the Mayhem Devil off so we can threaten to use the treasure and the blood tokens. All right, enfeeblement's fine. So let's go Supplier first. See if we hit Parhelion. We didn't. But we didn't hit another Greasefang. So let's go. Attack with this. And I think we might play another Fable here. Although can't stay away on a 4/3 is still pretty good as well. Now if they play Mayhem Devil, though, every time I crack something, it's going to be rough. Oh, they drew Witch's Oven, though. So we know they have Fatal Push, Mayhem Devil, Fatal Push. So we're not going to be able to combo, so we'll just go for a Fable. We'll just do some attacking. That's such a sick draw. Such a sick draw. Do we want another white source? We already have 2 red. I'll play this on white. So go. And then we can, whatever they target with push here, it'll probably be Greasefang. They're going to Trail Crumbs once and probably Fatal Push once. And then we'll just Deadly Dispute, whatever they target with push. But now they're going to have Mayhem Devil online next turn. Maybe I should have took that over Trail Crumbs. I just figured long-term Trail Crumbs was better. But the Mayhem Devil is kind of a nightmare, so... Alright, so they're going to... We have the Rummage here, so we don't need to pop the blood tokens just yet. But I kind of want to maybe pop one. Alright, Shock with Blood Crypt. 1 Fatal Push gone. They're going to play Mayhem Devil. We'll Rummage once. Thoughtseize? Thoughtseize could be okay. They can't quite kill a Greasefang. We're going to Rummage away some stuff, though. Alright, so we're definitely going to use the ability. We're definitely discarding Vantage. And then the problem is they can deal 2 at instant speed and they have push. So I think we have to discard Harvester as well. We didn't draw what we needed. I'm going to Thoughtseize. They're probably going to go Crack Oven, push. Or no, they don't have to. They'll just push, maybe. Maybe they'll just let it go. Guess we have to take another Mayhem Devil. Tapped it wrong. Mayhem Devil popping on your own sacrifices is kind of brutal. And they're just going to be able to kill a Shaman and use the Trail Crumbs. I don't know why. I feel like they should kill Bloodtithe Harvester here, actually. We're pretty close to dead. We might actually be dead. I don't know that we have a whole lot of ways to get out of it because we didn't bring in a ton of ways to kill Mayhem Devil. Could have maybe brought in Fatal Push. We left him in the sideboard. You can see how hard it is. We actually couldn't even get rid of their graveyard stuff that well either. Alright, so they main phase of Fatal Push. Kind of strange. I guess the Greasefang has 3 toughness, so they can... I'm gonna block. Whatever. Milled over a Greasefang. We did not mill over a Parhelion, so I don't think that we're in business this game. But we're up a game, so we still got game 3. Another trail. So they actually are insulated from Greasefang here. Thanks to a little trick. Alright, we're dead. GG next. Alright, let's get our Fated Pushes in just for mayhem. I don't really want the axes. I don't really want to go blank. Skysovereign's okay. Can't Stay Away's okay. Kroxa is okay. I just don't even want these Thoughtseizes. Maybe we just do this. Let's grind through them. Maybe we do this. Kind of like getting a little more aggro on the play. They just have too many different things that require Thoughtseizing. And the time it takes to cast, I mean, you saw it, we had it in our opener of that game, and we didn't even really want to cast it till like turn 4 or 5 because we were able to put some things on the battlefield and kind of sculpt our draw. I mean, you could make the argument that their Trail of Crumbs is so important that having Thoughtseize on 1 is more important than playing an Epicure. I was trying to set it up where if they tapped out, we could get them a Greasefang, but it never came up. We played a lot of Magic there and never found a Parhelion in 30 cards, and that's just kind of how it goes sometimes. Just kind of the way it goes sometimes. But we can still win the match. We're going to be on the play for game number 3. Portable Hole could maybe come in as well. Maybe Portable Hole is better than some of this, I don't know, random chaff. I just feel like we just get blown out by random disenchant stuff too much when we have Portable Hole in the matchup. I have Portable Hole in the matchup every now and then in various decks, and it never feels good when it dies. You always think you're safe, and then they just have one Abrupt Decay, and it unlocks all their little engines again. And this deck doesn't really care that much about stopping their engines. It cares way more about just stopping their interaction. Thoughtseize is maybe the way to do that the best, and maybe siding it out is a big mistake, but I side out Thoughtseize a lot whenever my opponent's deck does a lot of the same thing. We'll keep this. Lead off with Urborg Stitcher. Found a Greasefang. Don't have a way to bring it back yet, but we can draw them. Putting anything to the graveyard that's potentially useful later is always nice with Stitchers. Oh, well, we found a lot of it. That's nice. So we have the Can't Stay Away, Greasefang, Skysovereign combo in the graveyard. We have Deadly Dispute, Fable in hand. So next turn, I think we just play land, say go. Go for Dispute into Can't Stay Away, Greasefang. Because we might even hit Parhelion. That'd be cool. Go blank. All right. Well, that's a bummer. All that work undone so quickly for so little. I main phase this to just try to hit a land drop, I guess. Here, I think we'll probably discard the land, EOT, untap, play Fable. This card's so good. Go blank has been such a heater against me whenever I play any of these graveyard decks. I don't think I saved the blood token specifically because I have Fable, but maybe because I have Fable, I'm supposed to just wait so that I have like an extra thing later. I'm gonna hold the land here. Maybe I should play the land actually. Nah, I'm gonna hold it. If I get hit with a go blank again, I think that's fine. All right, so they can go block, block, make a treasure, bring it back, but it minuses a food token, but it minuses a food token, so probably a bad attack to be honest, but Opponent here in the tank. I don't have a whole lot of stuff threatening next turn yet, but I got some stuff cooking. They are under fire, I guess, from both the Fable, potential for Parhelion Greasefang over time. Here's the devil. Speaking of the devil, I still think we're okay unless they have a fatal push. If we hit this turn. All right, well, let's just discard 2 Parhelions since we're never casting them. And if we could go blanked again, it is what it is. All right, well, we don't have anything to do other than play a Graveyard Trespasser. And I'm going to eat maybe one of my own things to drain them for 1, because if I target Familiar, they'll just bring it back. So, whatever. And now we have to win a game against Mayhem Devil. Again, every time. It's this unbeatable 3-3. Can use my treasure. I mean, I guess I can, but it doesn't really do anything. Deals damage to me or one of my creatures. Blood Crypt untapped. That's probably a bad sign on turn 5, right? Unequaled Anvil. Rut-row. Another Mayhem Devil. A double Rut-row. Okay. So, what do they do? Anvil? Kill my Shaman? Okay. Sure. They could do nothing. Ah, so they can kill multiple things. But they can't really target Trespasser. It just gets countered a bunch unless they discard a bunch of cards, so. They can sack Construct to deal me 1, and then 2 more with Mayhem Devil. Well, chat, that's gonna about do it. Play 1 more turn or so. The go blank is the bane of my existence. It's just so good. Guess I'll attack. I'm gonna eat Epicure. They want to trade Mayhem Devils, I'm fine with it. If they want to chump block, that's also fine with me. Okay, I guess that means they're trading these 2. Okay, I don't understand this that well. I feel like they should just take 3. It's weird how much I've been flooding with this deck, considering I have so many blood tokens and Fable, but I'm just getting in spots where the spells I'm drawing are uncastables like Parhelion, and I don't really know what to do about it, to be honest. All right, well, I don't think we're getting out of this one alive, so they can just go make a goose, token, bring back a familiar, shoot for 2, sack construct, shoot for 2, clear off Kiki, maybe Stitcher Supplier, maybe attack for 6-ish. And then they just kind of have to beat a Graveyard Glutton. But that doesn't seem like it's too tough. I'm just going to block the construct with the Stitchers. I don't know. All right, so Mayhem Devil going to be used to take care of the Kiki Jiki. These 6 come through. They have Goose activation if they want. Another Cauldron. All right. They only played the 1 spell, though, so our Glutton stays on the backside. Another Fable. Doesn't do a ton. Not this turn, anyway. Which is the turn that I need to do something. think I don't attack. I have nothing in my graveyard to eat. If I target their Cauldron Familiar, they'll just bring it back in response. I'm pretty sure I'm dead to whatever's on the battlefield. This would be a nice spot to have like Kalitas or something in the sideboard, right? That's the one part about the Greasefang decks, is that if your opponent is like mildly prepared for the Greasefang stuff, if the rest of your deck can't win the game, then you're just in bad shape. When I was playing the Abzan Greasefang decks, I really liked having stuff like Gurmag Angler and other just alternate win conditions, because as you can see, our opponent has had us, graveyard locked, Mayhem Devil locked the entire 2 games post sideboard, and there's not really been anything we could do about it. I brought in a couple answers to Mayhem Devil. They drawn 3 in the top 15 cards in the post sideboard games. All right, that's gonna do it. All right, it's gonna do it all for me. All right, we'll be right back with the final thoughts on Mardu Greasefang. All right, we're here for our final thoughts on Mardu Greasefang. This version won the challenge this past weekend, and honestly, on paper, it looks pretty good. I think with a little bit of luck and a little bit more squeaky play from me, where I don't just slip a bunch of percentage points from playing the wrong land or sequencing things incorrectly, I think we might have could have won at least 1, maybe 2 more of the matches during that league. So I'm not going to chalk it up to anything there other than misplays from me and maybe just sideboarding poorly and things like that. I want to learn this deck a little bit better before I make any educated changes, I suppose. Considering any changes I make right now would be mostly knee-jerk reaction changes. So let's say main deck looked pretty solid. The Thoughtseizes were good. I think I probably sided them out too often. The Kroxa was kind of dog shit. Not having a basic land made us lose to Field of Ruin straight up multiple games. The Sorin Vengeful Bloodlord was okay, but the 4th mana is kind of brutal sometimes when you're trying to loot away all those extra lands. With Fable, your land's entering tapped with Concealed Courtyard and Inspiring Vantage. I'd probably get rid of the Sorin, to be honest. I don't think you want like another Can't Stay Away or anything like that, but I kind of want to cut the Kroxa, and I kind of want to cut the Sorin. So those are just where I'm kind of leaning at right now. Everything else in the deck felt pretty good. Citrus and the Dispute felt great. I never felt like I was likely to turn 3 Greasefang a Parhelion. And when I play the Abzan decks, I pretty regularly turn 3 Greasefang Parhelion. And it was mostly because Satyr Wayfinder was like a lot of looks. But also because cards like the Llanowar and Deathrite Shaman and things like that can give you extra mana in the early turn, so you can activate your blood tokens. And I just never felt like I had that capability. Now I did Greasefang on 3 one time, and it was very strong. So I don't want to say it's not possible. I just think it's a little less likely because on 1 you're playing like Supplier, and if your Supplier misses, your turn 2 is going to be a little weak. If you go Tournament Epicure, turn 2 Parhelion, discard, maybe you don't have something to do with your extra mana, and that's kind of not the greatest either. So the sequencing in the deck feels like it's a little clunky. The Fables are good, but the Fables were not nearly as good in this deck that I thought they'd be. They were much better for me when I was playing Winota, because it was like, if my opponent interacts with my Fable, they're going to die to Winota. And I think that that's an important thing. Now, I think Fable's also much better on turn 2 off of Llanowar Elves. On 3, after you've already played a handful of Stitcher, Supplier, and Voldaren Epicures and Thoughtseizes, you're kind of getting down to low resources in hand. I felt that when I was playing Fable in this deck, oftentimes I would only be rummaging away 1 card or 2 cards that I had 2 cards in hand that like I didn't really want to discard. And when I'm playing Winota, I feel like every land and every Llanowar Elves after the first couple turns is something that you can probably get away with discarding. Most of your 6-drop creatures you can get away with discarding. In this deck, it's basically just Parhelion, and then you have a couple of graveyard things. Now, with that said, I do think Fable is good. The fact that I never was able to get 2 online and never do the cool tricks was a little bit of a bummer. But I think that's a product of this deck not being able to win a fair game very well. And the fact that this deck can't win a fair game very well means that I'm probably not going to pick it up again for at least the time being. I'm going to lean towards Abzan for now if I do play some Greasefang. So anyway, sideboard, a little all over the place. 6 1-mana removal spells of 3 different colors. Don't really love it. Rydane, never drew it. Damning Sphere, never played against a matchup where it mattered. But that's Pioneer. You know, you have high octane sideboard cards that are for very specific matchups, and sometimes you don't play against matchups where they're good. Just kind of what happens. Anywho, that's going to do it for the YouTube video today. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button down below. Check out the deck list that's in the description if you need a text file to copy paste to borrow mana traders. And make sure to check out our sponsors, nextridgegames.com, as well as Dynamo Collectibles. All right, thanks for hanging out, everybody. We'll see y'all next time.